Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with my MAB Model D pistol in 32 ACP. This particular firearm was made during World War II, and it has a long, interesting story to tell, and I'm excited to bring that to you. But before I do, I have to tell you a little bit about the company, about the owner, and about how it came about being. So Léon Barthé, the creator of Manufacture des Armes de Béon, which I will just refer to as MAB from here on out, started this company on December 14th, 1920. Now, it had a slightly different name, but it changed pretty quick to MAB. And he started off by importing cheap Spanish pistols. The original one was the Model A. It was a 25 ACP pistol. And he started importing pistols as a profit-driven venture. And, he did pretty well with it. And after a short period of time, he decided that, just importing pistols was not all he wanted to do. He wanted to actually start manufacturing pistols. And that's kind of why he took the title that he did, because in France, you had state-run arsenals like MAC and MAP and MAT, and he actually intentionally created the name MAB so it would seem like the other kind of common known manufacturers of firearms at the time. And when he decided he was going to start manufacturing his own pistols, him, like the vast majority of other manufacturers at the time, said, what's John Moses Browning doing? And let's just copy what he's doing. So ostensibly, this is, if you look at the literature, most of the times they'll say it's a copy of a FN Model 1910. I would say it's probably closer to the FN Model 1922, which was simply a 1910, but they just extended the barrel and actually had a little slide extension that came off the end. This is more apt to look like a 1922, which was actually designed really for the Yugoslavian military. I would tell you that this grip angle is much more ergonomic than the FN 1922, but has a similar length slide, has the recoil spring wrapped around the barrel, unlike the Colt 1903, which is something that we would find a little bit more normal to the American shooter. And he started producing this firearm, and it did very well. So he basically stole a Belgian design made by an American designer to make this pistol with some of his improvements on it. For instance, this does have an American style mag release, which is nice. I will tell you that this safety is a little bit easier to get to, and again, they got rid of the little extension on the slide. The only reason they had the extension on the slide is they wanted to just use 1910 slides in FN. So this is probably an upgraded version of an FN 1922. I've owned one in the past, and I would say that this is a better pistol than that. So after a little while, the Nazis, they came a knocking, and they went ahead and they invaded the country. And when they did, just like in every other country, like in Czechoslovakia, in Belgium, they just took over the factories and started producing those firearms for their own personal military use. And this was no exception. So they went ahead and they started producing these. And to be honest with you, MAB was a profit-driven company, and nobody out and out says it, but it's kind of implied that they didn't have a problem working with the Vichy government or out and out with the Nazis. So they produced 50,000 of them. That would be from serial number 47,000 to 97,000, and they will all be stamped with a, let me see here, let me see here. Right here, it's really hard to see. I will get a better picture. A WAA 251 Waffenop. That means this gun was accepted by the German army. And so the American design of a Belgian gun that was co-opted by the French ended up being produced for the German military, which is just kind of a cool story. And these pistols are, again, straight blowback. Barrel doesn't move. You could tell this is a Type 1. All the German military ones should be a Type 1, which means that there is this little lever here down at the bottom, which keeps the nose cap in tight and captive. I'll show you that when we get to the disassembly procedure for this particular firearm. But you will notice there's something kind of unique about this one, and it's hard to tell because there's some pitting on this one, but there's a section here milled out, and if you look, there is a serial number there, and there's a serial number there, and then there is a serial number there, but this number and that number don't match up. And that's where this particular firearm gets a little bit goofy. So this firearm was assigned to a soldier that was going to be a part of the captivity of Norway. So this gun ended up going on a soldier's hip to Norway. And it wasn't exactly a crazy busy theater, and to be completely honest with you, the best of the best did not necessarily get sent to Norway. And ironically enough, a lot of World War I soldiers that got sent to Norway actually brought some guns from World War I. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So this gun was in Norway, and when the war ended, a convoy came out to Norway and said, hey, Germans, you need to go back home. And the Norwegians said, leave all your guns behind. And what the Norwegians did was they took all of the best weapons, anything in 32 ACP that was in good condition, like this one, they actually pressed into police use. And when they did, they actually milled off this section and put Politi, and then had the Norwegian crest, and then a separate serial number stamped to the slide, and the slide and the frame, and was pressed into police use. And this is an example of it. And ironically enough, the vast majority of them were Mauser HSCs, some Mauser 1914s, but like they have examples of Astras. A couple of Frommer stops ended up making it there. A FN model 1900. So these are probably World War I, retired German soldiers that signed up for military service, and they got sent to Norway. And the police ended up using these pistols. Now, what's kind of unique is that a small batch of these, when they decided that they were going to get rid of them, got imported into the United States, and it was prior to 1968. So this does not have any import markings on it. So this gun was an American designer named John Moses Browning, came up with a basic idea of the design. He sold it to a Belgian company that came up with a gun, then refined the gun. Then a French company, MAB, ended up taking all of those ideas and producing this pistol. Then the German military came in, took over France, started producing these pistols for the German military that ended up in Norway. Then the Norwegians ended up taking these guns and using them from the police, and then the Norwegians ended up selling these guns to American citizens. So I mean, it's just the craziness of how this ended up where it was going is very, very unique. So I love the history of this particular firearm. Now this one's a little ratty, it's a little pitted, but I like it. And I've had a chance to shoot it. I'm going to take it to the range. I'll give you a little bit of a range review on it later, but I will tell you some interesting things about this pistol. First of all, the ergonomics of it are very good. I will tell you that the safety is easy to get to, but I will tell you this is a right-handed affair. There's not much you can do to operate this gun that if you're shooting it left-handed, that this safety will not get engaged and make this gun inoperable. I will also tell you that this grip safety is very, very small, not easy to engage, and kind of everything needs to have, or at least on my model, needs to have this grip safety engaged. That's not ideal on this particular firearm. So those are some things they don't like, and obviously you can tell by the plastic they use for these grips did not hold up long term. Now, actually, I fired this gun, and I will go do a range review on it again. Like I said, it doesn't hurt to shoot this particular gun, but again, with this mill cut out for the Politi and then the grips, it's probably lost any collector value, but it's still just such a cool gun. So field stripping this gun. So to field strip this gun, you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to put the mag in it. Again, make sure that it is not loaded. It does have a magazine disconnect safety in it, so you will need to have a magazine in to discharge it safely. Then you will go ahead and, again, this is one of those things where you need to have the grip safety on to drop the mag, which is kind of a pain. Then you just push down on this, and you will see when I do, it'll lift up over that notch, which actually you can see the notch. It's two-sided. It doesn't connect over here, but what this does is lift up over that notch, and then you just turn it 90 degrees. And now the spring is off. Once you do that, mine sticks on there. I think that's pretty common to most of them. You just go back to this second notch, which I do like. This is an improvement over the model 1903, which does not have a notch, it just has arrows. You turn the barrel 90 degrees clockwise, and then you take this off, and this will just slide right off. Now, what I will tell you is that is a scary affair. So I go ahead and I always take off my striker and my striker spring, just because I'm just scared to death that that is going to fly off my gun. I will show you how to reassemble that. Then you just turn that barrel, and it's just, at this point you could take that off. I've seen, you will see from time to time where it will say that there is a serial number on this barrel. There is not. All you're going to see is the MAB logo, caliber 7.65 PT, and then you're going to see that German proof mark on that particular pistol. As you go ahead and you look in this firearm, you will see that there is a serial number down here at the bottom, and that's how you disassemble this pistol. Relatively easy, fairly simple to do. Easy affair. Like I said, just like the Colt 1903, where you can see that there is a channel cut into that slide that will allow you to lock the pistol into the lugs, and that is how the gun operates. I do like how there is a little bit of knarling on the barrel. To reassemble the pistol, you'll want to go ahead, put the barrel back in, turn it, then you'll want to go ahead and you will want to put the striker back in the slide, and then you go ahead and line that up as so. Get that, and you're going to have a little bit of tension because of the striker. You're going to want to go ahead, and you do have to be pushing in on that grip safety to kind of get anything on this gun to work. And then you go ahead and you thread this on, and since they do have it a little bit tighter, it is not going to go on easily. Then you want to go ahead and make sure that you have the lugs for the barrel matched up with the lugs on your barrel nut, and this is going to be kind of hard to do on camera, so please be patient with me. And once you get her started, and you'll hear that snap. And now it's on there good and tight. I do like the Type 1s. Now all of the all of the guns that were made for the Germans are going to be the Type 1s. So if you don't remember that the serial numbers are 47,000 to 97,000, if you ever see a Waffen-Opt Model D that isn't a Type 1, it is a forgery. So you just want to keep an eye out for that, because these guns bring a premium. You know, a gun in this condition is a $150 to $200 gun, with it not being a World War II, provenance, army accepted gun. You know, something even in this condition is going to bring you $500, $600 on the market, just because of the interest of it being a World War II firearm. So you just want to keep an eye out on those. You know, you can get an aftermarket magazine on these still, not too terribly bad. Again, I do like this gun. I will tell you that because it's a full handed gun, this gun shoots better than a CZ27, and it shoots a whole lot better than a Walther PPK. I do like my Femeru. I think my Femeru shoots pretty good. I shoot this one a whole lot better than the HSC. Walther PP is pretty good. This is a better version, and definitely better than a FN 1922. But I will get this to the range. I will bring it out with a couple of my other World War II 32 ACP guns, and we'll run it through its paces. Maybe we'll compare some of those different firearms. So I want to thank you guys so much for supporting my channel, listening to all the things that I have to say. If you do have any comments, those are also always appreciated. I always try to respond to every single comment that I get. Please subscribe, share with any friends, and you stay classy, YouTube.
Little middle baby bucket, do you want to live in California?
No!
Why?
Because I'm not a communist.